everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month. The month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about Bad Boys, a 1995 movie. The first Bad Boys is an amazing movie, and in my opinion, it is the best out of all three movies and that of the TV show. Yes, there was a TV show. A couple of years back, around 2020 or 2021, they made an all-female I guess you could call it Bad Girls television show, but it was called, actually, I don't know what it's called. It's called LA something. And it starred Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba. Of course, Gabrielle Union is the sister of Marcus from the second movie. Needless to say, LA Confidential, I think is what it was called. Needless to say, it didn't last that long. It only lasted one season, and yeah, that was that. I never watched it. I don't know what channel it came on. It was originally supposed to come on a channel I think either I could get or a streaming app I could get, but then things started falling through. And then they put it on an app I've never even heard of. And so, needless to say, a lot of people either didn't watch it or just didn't care for it. I don't know how it was, but I just can't see Bad Boys without Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They have a unique chemistry when it comes to those movies. And I remember Gabrielle Union's character, like I like her as an actress, but when she was in the second Bad Boys movie, she just didn't quite fit as like Marcus' sister. It just didn't feel right. And as a trio, she just didn't fit right with Will and Martin, like Taylor Leone, I think that's her name is, like she did and everything. And so the first Bad Boy movie, it was directed by Michael Bay. That was his first movie ever. He was around 27, 28, and it's a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. Now, normally when it's a Jerry Bruckheimer movie, you hear about it and it's stated as such. But here you have to actually read the credits to find out it's his movie and stuff. And I honestly believe that this is Michael Bay's best movie like ever. This movie basically propelled that of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence into the movie making business. At that time, they were on two hit shows at the time in the 90s, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and of course Martin. And this movie made them into mega movie stars, and it gave both an ego, because this was around the time that Will, I believe, was having problems with the original Aunt Viv. And this is around the time, I believe, the second season of Martin, when Martin started to act like a crazy person on set. And so you all know the history of that. But yeah, originally it wasn't even supposed to star Martin and Will. Originally it was supposed to be a white buddy cop movie, but they decided to change it. And then so when they changed it to originally Arsenio Hall was supposed to play the character of Mike Lowry, but he turned it down and said it was the biggest regret of his life. Yeah. And so when they got changed to that of a black comedy action movie, Michael Bay did not know how to write for black people. So, he asked Martin and Will, help him out with the dialogue and stuff like that. And they improv a lot of stuff. When, you hear the commentary for the movie, you will know that, it took a lot to make this movie. And, because, originally, the scene in the beginning where, the jet goes over the Miami sign, that took a good, like, tug of war type thing with the studio, because like it's like a 3 foot sign and they really didn't want to do it, but he said, he has to do it. It's like his money shot and everything. There's a lot of money shot angles in this movie. I really love the direction of Michael Bay in this movie. It's very unique, it's very fresh, and it's very eye-opening. After this movie, all of his movies started to look and feel very genetic. Um, the lighting was the same, the action was the same, the explosions were the same. This movie has true grit. It's like a hard R with all the like F bombs and it's like nudity and all the action. The car chase at the very end of the movie is one of the best car chases I've ever seen in a movie. And like, he had a real vision when he did this. There's a scene where the bad guys are shooting down Mike's door when Martin's there with the Julie character, and he didn't like the way, like the whole look when the door got shot open. And so he told him, like, look, man, it looks like a pizza box. I have to redo this. I have to make it look good. The studio did not want to give him money, and he ran out of money for his budget. And he's like, look, man, I'll take the money out my own pocket and do it. But they're like, no, 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 you can't do that because of legal reasons and blah, 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 movie legal reasons. And so he had to do a lot of tug and war with this movie. Even at the point, like, there's a scene where in the beginning of the movie, when Martin and Will are like driving and they're driving in that Porsche, that's actually Michael Bay's car. Like the car they drive in the whole movie, that's his car and everything. And this was this dude's first movie, and he had a car like that, boy. And so like the hijack scene, that's actually something from real life. They got inspiration from real cops because most hijackers work in decoys, a female decoy and stuff like that. And in that scene, that was added on after the movie had done filming. They did the whole test audience screen and they realized they needed more scenes in their movie. So they added 4 more additional scenes, and that was one of them. There's also a scene where Martin Lawrence and Will are driving in the car over like a bridge and they're talking, and Michael told Will, I really need you to get a reaction out of Martin. And so he told Will to call Martin the B word and everything, which Martin Lawrence hates. And so the scenes that they did without the B word, he just wasn't feeling Martin's reaction. So when Will called him that, you can see the tone shift in Martin Lawrence's face and the demeanor in his voice and everything. And then, of course, there's the famous scene at the very end of the movie when Marcus and Mike are like talking, and Mark is all like, I love you, man. And Will, you can see the look on his face. He did not want to say, I love you back. In fact, it took hours and hours and hours for Will to say that word. And even the lighting changed in the movie around that time because, time had passed. But Will did not want to say that movie because, this was back in the 90s. And if you told another man you loved him, then they might have thought you're gay. And plus, Will did that one movie many years ago. We had to kiss a guy. And so, like, he didn't want people to think that because he was thinking about his rep from, like, the hood and all this other stuff he said. But after some convincing, he finally said it. And when he said it, you can tell he did not want to say that word. And so, like, I just think like everything in this movie is, in my opinion, perfect. The dialogue, the action, the car chase, the cast. This is an amazing cast and everybody looks different. I love the light filter they use for it. It's like this amber, gold, brownish, reddish kind of color, and it really sets the mood. When you get into the second Bad Boy and the third Bad Boy movie, the second one just looks like a generic movie with generic lighting. The third one looks like something that came out of John Wick. Now, I do like the second and the third one, but I don't like the third one that much. The third one just feels like a rehash of the second movie with the same type of jokes and stuff like that. But way better action and more improved action and stuff like that. My problem with the third movie, I just don't like Vanessa Hudgens, period. And what really pissed me off was finding out that Mike's character had a son he didn't know about, who turns out to be the antagonist of the movie. That pisses me off. I'm tired of all these movies where somebody has a kid they don't know about. What also pisses me off is that the thing about Will Smith's character that he is extremely smooth. He has lots of swagger. In the first movie, it was established that his family is rich, left him a trust fund, and he had to work his way up to be as good as he is to be a cop. And he hates when people doubt him and his abilities, and he's just really smooth with the ladies. You assume he learned that himself, or maybe like a relative taught him that, or something like that. No, it turns out that this woman who is a criminal, who is like a mobster lady, she is the one who taught him that when he was undercover. He was undercover for too long, and he basically became her boy and everything. And so she taught him everything he knows. And that just pissed me off so much, because it just took away from that cool character he was in the first movie. And but the directors did a really good job with the third movie. The second movie I like a lot. In the second movie, it felt more professional. They acted actually like cops. They acted they acted less like their characters from Fresh Prince and Martin. Also, a lot of things improved. One of the things about the first movie I did not like was the end battle scene, where like all the gun fighting and stuff like that at the airport. That was not choreographed very well. Things got so much better with the action in the second movie and the car chases and stuff like that. My only problem with like the second movie is that the villain's a little too comedic. The movie feel like it goes on and on and on and never stops, because once they get the drugs back and all this other stuff, you think it's over, but then the sister gets kidnapped. Also, like I said, the sister really doesn't have no chemistry with Will and Martin. Also, I hate hearing the N word, and I heard it over and over and over again in the second movie, and it just got to the point where my ears are like on fire. Not every black person talks like that. I don't. And it just really gets on my nerves when that word is used, because it's more mess than most people want to realize and everything. I don't care what Whoopi says. I don't care what Marlon Wayans says. That word pisses me off. And so that's something that just really irritates me when I get to like the second movie. But sometimes in the second movie, some scenes just go on for too long, and they're a little too silly and everything. But everything just felt right with the first one. The comedy felt really good in the first movie. Martin was hilarious in the first movie. There's some scenes where he just rambles on and rants. I rewinded just to re-listen to it again because it's too funny. But the problem with the first movie is they really didn't act like cops. Especially Martin's character. Will's character acted a bit more like a cop, but Martin's really didn't. And so that's one problem that a lot of people had with like the first movie. And so like with the first movie, like when they didn't act like cops, like when they went into that first crime scene, they didn't wear no gloves. They were like moving stuff around, and it's like they were putting their DNA all on everything, their fingerprints. That's something you just don't do. But this was like the 90s, so people really didn't take movies like that very seriously when it came to stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why. I also really love the side characters in this movie. The hotel clerk dude, that dude is always hilarious. He was in Martin's Blue Streak movie, and he was also in Becker. I like JoJo, the chemist dude. The madam, boy, she was like amazing looking. Max was cool. I didn't even know she was like a model in real life. I always wondered why I never saw her in nothing else. And like the wife, I love Teresa in this movie. The bickering between her and Martin felt so real, like a real married couple. And You gotta give it up to the villain in this movie, man. The villains, the bad guys, the goons, they were hilarious. The dialogue between them felt so genuine and everything. I like the two Hispanic cops that constantly kept fighting with like Martin and Will's character. And the main villain dude, that dude is a great actor. I've seen him in two movies, Kiss of the Dragon, and it's funny. Every time he's in an American movie, they have him play a French guy, and they always have him play the villain. I think he's Turkish, I believe. I don't know what he's up to now. I haven't seen him in anything since Kiss of the Dragon, and that came out in the early 2000s. And you gotta give it up to Taylor Leone, boy. She just looked and sounded and acted amazing in this movie. Because of this, she got like her own TV show after a while called Naked Something. It lasted for like 3 seasons on NBC. And I remember I saw the pilot and everything, and I only watched it because of the title. I was like, please show something. Well, I did not know on broadcast TV they don't show nothing. So yeah. But like she had great chemistry with like Martin, boy. Some scenes with him and her was just like the best. When like, you know, she's trying to like get the dogs and people are trying to kill them and he has to run and get the dogs and stuff. Her, Will, and Martin had great chemistry. They was a great trio. I was pissed when she didn't come back for the 2 sequels and stuff. Not even mentioned. It's like she doesn't even exist in the continuity and stuff. And also the boss. Oh my God. That dude, when he's on a rant and he's a cussing, boy, he is at his finest and everything. In the second movie, they kind of made him a pacifist. I really didn't like that. And then, of course, in the third one, I think they shot him up or blew him up or something. But, like, I really like how they took down the main villain at the end of the movie. It was really intense. You kind of really didn't see it coming at first until you did. And it was just a perfect way to end that villain's life. It was so much better than blowing him up like in the second movie. And so with Bad Boys, you know, you rarely see a black, like, you know, buddy cop movie. I don't think there's that many of them except for the one with The Rock and God, I was about to say the wrong name. Kevin Hart and everything. That's the only time I've ever seen like another. And so like with this movie, basically what it is that there's a bunch of like thugs and everything, mobster type dudes, and they're looking to steal drugs from the police scene. So they get like a fake decoy cop, they kill him, but the person who's helping them out is a former cop. And so basically, after their drugs got like restolen back, it's up to like, you know, Marcus and Mike to like find out who. So Mike, he has a friend who's a prostitute and he wants her to start scoping stuff out, see if she hears anything. She brings her friend Julie. When the bad guy sees that they're throwing a party with his drugs, he ain't too happy and he kills his associate who's the former cop, and he kills Max. Because Julie saw everything, they're chasing her down. The roof chase is amazing. And so basically she gets away with it. And so they're looking for her. She calls the precinct and everything. And because, you know, Mike finds out his friend is dead, he kind of does things alone, gets his butt kicked, stuff like that. When she calls the precinct, you know, she only wants to talk to Mike. And if she doesn't, she's going to blow her brains out and stuff. So they have to send in Marcus. This is the part of the movie that is most fascinating of them all. This movie is original. I have never seen a action movie like this or a cop movie like this where, like, you know, the bad guys steal drugs from like the cops, and then 2 cops have to pretend to be each other because the witness will not listen to another cop because she knows a former cop's the one who threw that party and stuff. And that is so original. Like, seriously, the whole movie, they're pretending to be each other, and that what makes for some of the greatest comedy in this movie. So basically, you know, all that like shenanigans happen, and they go to like a club, and then it's a shootout. It's a great action scene. There's a great car chase scene. She's getting fed up because she's tired of just being around in like his hotel, and so she wants to go and avenge her friend's death, which causes problems. And what was it? Like, it was something that happened around this time. Oh, the bologna scene. I didn't eat bologna after that. And so, like, the convenience store scene is awesome. The dude who's the clerk was in the first Iron Man movie. And so, basically, the bad guys eventually find out where they're all staying. It's a shootout. The chase scene on foot was one of the most amazing things ever. Michael Bay literally said this is when he knew Will Smith was going to be a huge movie star. And, it's literally just two men like on foot chasing after these guys, and there's like a car, and then there's a scene where there's a guy about to get hit by the car. Michael Bay was literally at the edge of the stairs and stuff, and he almost got hit by the car. But that's the kind of crazy director he is. He gets into the action. And so there's that great money shot scene where they both rise up, and they're like looking into like the sky and everything, tired from all that running. And so basically they find out where she is, because they find out their secretary lady's the one who ratted them out and stuff like that, because she's working with the bad guys and stuff. And so they get Julie back. There's a shootout, there's a great car chase scene at the end, and then they both get shot, and then they both talk about they love each other, and then they walk off in like the sunset and everything. And it's just great, like the scene when they're like coming towards the bad guy, and the sun is coming down, and it's the three of them walking in slow motion. This is Michael Bay's best movie. It just is. I don't like his Transformer movies. I saw the first one. I don't like it. I haven't seen no other movie. I tried to watch his Ninja Turtle movie, and I could only get 20 minutes in before I stopped because it looks like an abomination. This is truly his best movie, in my honest to God opinion. And it sucks he doesn't go back to his old style of like filmmaking. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.